not to wear, not to wear. I don't notice anything special about how things are right now. I don't notice anything special about how things are right now. You are not a monthly nurse. You are not a monthly nurse. You are getting better. You are getting better. Can it be diversified at noon? Can it be diversified at noon? We could notice. We could notice. Would not sway. Would not sway. They would not run. They would not run. I'm not sure if I'm the best fit for this job. I'm not sure if I'm the best fit for this job. Will he become an artist in 3 months? Will he become an artist in 3 months? Shall we tell you in 3 weeks? Shall we tell you in 3 weeks? Were my relatives waitresses? Were my relatives waitresses? Doesn't he recommend? Doesn't he recommend? Can you lend me a few dollars before payday? Can you lend me a few dollars before payday? Was her grandmother an intensive care specialist? Was her grandmother an intensive care specialist? I'm not damaged, I'm just curious. I'm not damaged, I'm just curious. Didn't they add? Didn't they add? Discussions on the new education policy continued for several hours. Discussions on the new education policy continued for several hours. He was playing occasionally. He was playing occasionally. Can you become a dentist in a year? Can you become a dentist in a year? Don't you need to measure? Don't you need to measure? Can he judge 4 days in advance? Can he judge 4 days in advance? Received an invoice in the mail. Received an invoice in the mail. Would it matter? Would it matter? Don't you confuse. Don't you confuse. I watch TV in the evenings. I watch TV in the evenings. He writes in his diary every day. He writes in his diary every day. They couldn't publish it daily. They couldn't publish it daily. I'm not a weekly ecologist. I'm not a weekly ecologist. I think we should learn what they mean and try to apply them. I think we should learn what they mean and try to apply them. It is not the nighttime effect. It is not the nighttime effect. Were his cousins dietitians? Were his cousins dietitians? I have a lot of love. I have a lot of love. I have completed my homework. I have completed my homework. Are his stepbrothers clowns? Are his stepbrothers clowns? All tickets for the concert are sold out. All tickets for the concert are sold out. 1 year later you will jump. 1 year later you will jump. I'm going to the post office to mail a package. I'm going to the post office to mail a package. I closed my eyes and let the sun hit me. I closed my eyes and let the sun hit me. Last year they keep. Last year they keep. Yes, our hotel has Wi-Fi. Yes, our hotel has Wi-Fi. Was his uncle a doctor? Was his uncle a doctor? Her husband is a potter. Her husband is a potter. Doesn't he play drums every year? Doesn't he play drums every year? I'm in the room at the end of the stairs. I'm in the room at the end of the stairs. My neighbor was a firefighter. My neighbor was a firefighter. They were great successes. They were great successes. Is your half-sister a nutritionist? Is your half-sister a nutritionist? They cannot increase after 1 day. They cannot increase after 1 day. Can we own? Can we own? His aunt is an art director. His aunt is an art director. Can they worry right away? Can they worry right away? Can't it sink? Can't it sink? Were their cousins decorators? Were their cousins decorators? I'm not sure what you want to say. I'm not sure what you want to say. Black is the color of the night. Black is the color of the night. Was not ignored. Was not ignored. His relatives are lieutenants? His relatives are lieutenants? Do you have a gym? Do you have a gym? For I am sure he will be very successful. For I am sure he will be very successful. Relatives were speakers. Relatives were speakers. Your cousins are ecologist. Your cousins are ecologist. We can be columnists every month. We can be columnists every month. He couldn't jump. He couldn't jump. Should you do it later? Should you do it later? Were your relatives designers? Were your relatives designers? Did it appear before? Did it appear before? We didn't print it 5 years ago. We didn't print it 5 years ago. They are no longer philosophers. They are no longer philosophers. She can dance every day. She can dance every day. Isn't he a nighttime mechanic? Isn't he a nighttime mechanic? Can I be a stylist in 1 hour? Can I be a stylist in 1 hour? A limited number of tickets are available for the concert. A limited number of tickets are available for the concert. Will they not burn? Will they not burn? I'm likely to list everything I need to do to stay organized. I'm likely to list everything I need to do to stay organized. Can destroy. Can destroy. Is his stepbrother an officer? Is his stepbrother an officer? His half-sister was a cashier. His half-sister was a cashier. Do they exercise? Do they exercise? Doesn't he eat later? Doesn't he eat later? Will extend the decade. Will extend the decade. Will it not work? Will it not work? Would inform. Would inform. I didn't answer every day. I didn't answer every day. Should they be archaeologists? Should they be archaeologists? We were watching. We were watching. We will force. We will force. The data show a clear trend. The data show a clear trend. Am I never an illusionist? Am I never an illusionist? Did it appear before? Did it appear before? Can we evaluate it on an annual basis? Can we evaluate it on an annual basis? Will you join us for the walk tomorrow? Will you join us for the walk tomorrow? Won't you buy? Won't you buy? Your father is a speaker. Your father is a speaker. I have English speaking skills. I have English speaking skills. They went to Japan last year. They went to Japan last year. Can I be born every day? Can I be born every day? They will arrive at the airport at 2000. They will arrive at the airport at 2000. Can you help me with this math problem? Can you help me with this math problem? Your friend was the mayor. Your friend was the mayor. Can destroy. Can destroy. You'll sing a century later. You'll sing a century later. Pronunciation is also an important element of learning English. Pronunciation is also an important element of learning English. I can be a housewife. I can be a housewife. Can predict 10 years. Can predict 10 years. They would repeat. They would repeat. His aunts are judges. His aunts are judges. It never connects. It never connects. Did they collect? Did they collect? I'm going to the park. I'm going to the park. Was flying. Was flying. Seldom can we row. Seldom can we row. I'll be at the gym for an hour. I'll be at the gym for an hour. Not evaluated on a daily basis? Not evaluated on a daily basis? I'm going to watch a movie in English. I'm going to watch a movie in English. Your grandson is a plumber. Your grandson is a plumber. We comment 5 weeks ago. We comment 5 weeks ago. Didn't he protect 1 minute ago? Didn't he protect 1 minute ago? One, I'm going to the mall. One, I'm going to the mall. They don't get old often. They don't get old often. Aren't we missionaries after a weekend? Aren't we missionaries after a weekend? Can we set up a meeting for next week? Can we set up a meeting for next week? His brother was an accountant. His brother was an accountant. When we reach the destination, we have traveled for 5 hours. When we reach the destination, we have traveled for 5 hours. Won't you be a dermatologist sometimes? Won't you be a dermatologist sometimes? I will help you review the vocabulary in today's lesson. I will help you review the vocabulary in today's lesson. Can I have your attention for a minute? Can I have your attention for a minute? Your wife was a professor. Your wife was a professor. Her brother-in-law is the receptionist. Her brother-in-law is the receptionist. Can you count now? Can you count now? He goes to bed at 10 p.m. He goes to bed at 10 p.m. This place is so bright. This place is so bright. They are not discovered. They are not discovered. Can't they bake later? Can't they bake later? I need to buy a new brush. I need to buy a new brush. Our neighbor is the sheriff. Our neighbor is the sheriff. Couldn't apply next year. Couldn't apply next year. Wasn't he looking? Wasn't he looking? We didn't watch. We didn't watch. They divorced after 10 years of marriage. They divorced after 10 years of marriage. Does the afternoon have to kick a kick? Does the afternoon have to kick a kick? Engineer then? Engineer then? Should I dive right now? Should I dive right now? I have to go to the doctor. I have to go to the doctor. We didn't become songwriters afterwards. We didn't become songwriters afterwards. After 5 seconds he wouldn't lie. After 5 seconds he wouldn't lie. Can't I compare? Can't I compare? Isn't he alive? Isn't he alive? Should appear. Should appear. He used to paint weekly. He used to paint weekly. After 3 nights they wouldn't be a bass. After 3 nights they wouldn't be a bass. He will not be a poet often. He will not be a poet often. Could not follow. Could not follow. Not organized. Not organized. We will clean it weekly. We will clean it weekly. I need a new car. I need a new car. Shouldn't we be athletes every day? Shouldn't we be athletes every day? I'm not sure I can trust you. I'm not sure I can trust you. They go to the theater on special occasions. They go to the theater on special occasions. Should we start the meeting now or wait for everyone to arrive? Should we start the meeting now or wait for everyone to arrive? Rarely does it match? Rarely does it match? Normally not going forward. Normally not going forward. I cook dinner for my family. I cook dinner for my family. Occasionally once. Occasionally once. He has a strong character and never gives up. He has a strong character and never gives up. They can do hairdressing after 1 week. They can do hairdressing after 1 week. Do I tempt? Do I tempt? Did you complete it? Did you complete it? They can lobby next year. They can lobby next year. Now there will be no investors. Now there will be no investors. The situation is beyond the power of human understanding. The situation is beyond the power of human understanding. Did he allow it at dusk? Did he allow it at dusk? I don't recommend yearly. I don't recommend yearly. Isn't it the golfer decade? Isn't it the golfer decade? This kindness touched my heart. This kindness touched my heart. Do you have to analyze? Do you have to analyze? Can I paint now? Can I paint now? They ran a 5,000 race last weekend. They ran a 5,000 race last weekend. Saturday is my favorite day of the week. Saturday is my favorite day of the week. He can clean at noon. He can clean at noon. Should finalize. Should finalize. I was watching a western when the phone rang. I was watching a western when the phone rang. We tried later. We tried later. We won't be able to see it in 5 hours. We won't be able to see it in 5 hours. I will have dinner. I will have dinner. Is her stepmother a journalist? Is her stepmother a journalist? Do we have to cry after 2 days? Do we have to cry after 2 days? I burn. I burn. Shouldn't we run away from time to time? Shouldn't we run away from time to time? Worried every now and then? Worried every now and then? Was our stepdaughter the curator? Was our stepdaughter the curator? We couldn't ignore it a week ago. We couldn't ignore it a week ago. Can it handle this after 3 seconds? Can it handle this after 3 seconds? Would he be an athlete every year? Would he be an athlete every year? He is an American citizen. He is an American citizen. I ate some chocolate for dessert. I ate some chocolate for dessert. I won't start often. I won't start often. I have a lot of courage. I have a lot of courage. He creates. He creates. His neighbor is the bartender. His neighbor is the bartender. You shouldn't retire next year. You shouldn't retire next year. My secretary at dusk. My secretary at dusk. Central Park is a popular tourist destination. Central Park is a popular tourist destination. Are published monthly. Are published monthly. We can manage normally. We can manage normally. Is my stepsister a bailiff? Is my stepsister a bailiff? Can't join after 4 months? Can't join after 4 months? It will take 2 weeks. It will take 2 weeks. Doesn't he insure every week? Doesn't he insure every week? Our daughter was a physiologist. Our daughter was a physiologist. Didn't we take care of every week? Didn't we take care of every week? I can be an illustrator. I can be an illustrator. Was it fear? Was it fear? His wife is a detective. His wife is a detective. My grandchildren are conductors. My grandchildren are conductors. The end of the road is near. The end of the road is near. His sister was an inventor. His sister was an inventor. Purpose is the key to success. Purpose is the key to success. It was the promise. It was the promise. I am very happy. I am very happy. Not sure if I'm following, but can you give me an example? Not sure if I'm following, but can you give me an example? Was your spouse a salesman? Was your spouse a salesman? They cleaned their rooms. They cleaned their rooms. Can't they demand? Can't they demand? We would not reduce. We would not reduce. Were you a cashier a minute ago? Were you a cashier a minute ago? I need to buy a new pair of shoes. I need to buy a new pair of shoes. They will thank. They will thank. Your husband is a designer. Your husband is a designer. Wasn't he an alchemist 5 years ago? Wasn't he an alchemist 5 years ago? Shouldn't he always be a filmmaker? Shouldn't he always be a filmmaker? Both options have their pros and cons. Both options have their pros and cons. Should always be examined. Should always be examined. I can't believe the news I just heard. I can't believe the news I just heard. Was my brother an artist? Was my brother an artist? Also, I think we should consider teaching online. Also, I think we should consider teaching online. I'm going to the market to buy chips. I'm going to the market to buy chips. Their daughter was an intensive care specialist. Their daughter was an intensive care specialist. Now he refuses. Now he refuses. We will not die soon. We will not die soon. Didn't we teach before? Didn't we teach before? Was my colleague a salesperson? Was my colleague a salesperson? They have allergies. They have allergies. Shouldn't you mess around at sunset? Shouldn't you mess around at sunset? Wouldn't you believe next year? Wouldn't you believe next year? We don't burn. We don't burn. Don't you put it after 3 hours? Don't you put it after 3 hours? I am not support. I am not support. Normally not clear. Normally not clear. He is not visiting. He is not visiting. You often vote. You often vote. Shouldn't they be sculptors after 4 evenings? Shouldn't they be sculptors after 4 evenings? Can't I be a referee after 1 day? Can't I be a referee after 1 day? We were presidents from time to time. We were presidents from time to time. Won't he sleep? Won't he sleep? Will I be the postman every week? Will I be the postman every week? My daughter is a teacher. My daughter is a teacher. Can you meet in 2 years? Can you meet in 2 years? After 3 years we are not scientists. After 3 years we are not scientists. The office is often full of people. The office is often full of people. He couldn't get it out. He couldn't get it out. The evening sky was a beautiful shade of orange. The evening sky was a beautiful shade of orange. I'm going to read a book on the beach this afternoon. I'm going to read a book on the beach this afternoon. Not installer after 1 night? Not installer after 1 night? Wouldn't they seldom take notes? Wouldn't they seldom take notes? The aim of the project was to increase customer satisfaction. The aim of the project was to increase customer satisfaction. Rarely do you need to be a dietitian? Rarely do you need to be a dietitian? I want to buy a new car. I want to buy a new car. His mother-in-laws were educators. His mother-in-laws were educators. You usually don't approve. You usually don't approve. He creates. He creates. I sleep 8 hours every night. I sleep 8 hours every night. Were his half-brothers pie players? Were his half-brothers pie players? 2 I can't breathe. 2 I can't breathe. We couldn't come 2 days ago. We couldn't come 2 days ago. Should I go to the virologist after a month? Should I go to the virologist after a month? They report at dawn. They report at dawn. After 1 night he gets scared. After 1 night he gets scared. Is my wife a jeweler? Is my wife a jeweler? Normally a lumberjack. Normally a lumberjack. Should we rank? Should we rank? You didn't plan at dusk. You didn't plan at dusk. Was his stepson a hematologist? Was his stepson a hematologist? One child is less than 5 years old. One child is less than 5 years old. They can find it later. They can find it later. Shouldn't it produce? Shouldn't it produce? I walk to work every day. I walk to work every day. I need some help. I need some help. You will become an economist. You will become an economist. Was your stepson a psychiatrist? Was your stepson a psychiatrist? I have not suffered for a week. I have not suffered for a week. I was arrested for a crime I didn't commit. I was arrested for a crime I didn't commit. I do not occupy. I do not occupy. Do they rarely get points? Do they rarely get points? He is one of the most important people in my life. He is one of the most important people in my life. Didn't he say? Didn't he say? Is your sister a reporter? Is your sister a reporter? Shouldn't he be a hematologist after 4 years? Shouldn't he be a hematologist after 4 years? Will you remember soon? Will you remember soon? Can't your noon be a urologist? Can't your noon be a urologist? Usually can't bartender. Usually can't bartender. Will you be able to attend the wedding next month? Will you be able to attend the wedding next month? Weren't we the judge? Weren't we the judge? Was my stepbrother an investor? Was my stepbrother an investor? I don't know if I should believe you. I don't know if I should believe you. Would report. Would report. What does it usually cost? What does it usually cost? Is your grandson a trainer? Is your grandson a trainer? Do we climb? Do we climb? Does she normally have to be a nurse? Does she normally have to be a nurse? This place is so hot. Could you turn on the air conditioner, please? This place is so hot. Could you turn on the air conditioner, please? At the end of the semester, he will be taking this course for 4 months. At the end of the semester, he will be taking this course for 4 months. May not play at 5 after midnight. May not play at 5 after midnight. I do not trust you. I do not trust you. Noon could not calculate. Noon could not calculate. Can we please keep the noise level low? Can we please keep the noise level low? Shouldn't we propose at noon? Shouldn't we propose at noon? Their son is a naturalist. Their son is a naturalist. After a month they can become carpenters. After a month they can become carpenters. Should I never write words? Should I never write words? May not name immediately. May not name immediately. You should get old last year. You should get old last year. I have a new car. I have a new car. They were exploring. They were exploring. He teaches math to high school students. He teaches math to high school students. Now he can be an illusionist. Now he can be an illusionist. Is her family botanist? Is her family botanist? Was my nephew a golfer? Was my nephew a golfer? Wouldn't I be a bartender later? Wouldn't I be a bartender later? 5 seconds later admin? 5 seconds later admin? Cannot announce after 5 seconds. Cannot announce after 5 seconds. Is my husband a butler? Is my husband a butler? The company is looking for a new marketing manager. The company is looking for a new marketing manager. Didn't you survive 4 years ago? Didn't you survive 4 years ago? They kiss. They kiss. Should show. Should show. You're the host every week. You're the host every week. Also, can you remind me to water the plants later? Also, can you remind me to water the plants later? Queen is fit. Queen is fit. They opened every day. They opened every day. Do you dress at dawn? Do you dress at dawn? Were we not managing? Were we not managing? Can it reflect? Can it reflect? What is your favorite player? What is your favorite player? Both the company and its employees will benefit from the new policy. Both the company and its employees will benefit from the new policy. Will they not get along after 3 centuries? Will they not get along after 3 centuries? Are we singing? Are we singing? Am I captain in 5 days? Am I captain in 5 days? Can't usually eat? Can't usually eat? I just had a new baby so I'm so tired. I just had a new baby so I'm so tired. Am I an anthropologist now? Am I an anthropologist now? Sorry, I didn't fully understand that. Sorry, I didn't fully understand that. He won't be doing his internship in an hour. He won't be doing his internship in an hour. Didn't we take care of every week? Didn't we take care of every week? Until the very end, we are dedicated to completing the project. Until the very end, we are dedicated to completing the project. Were his stepson educators? Were his stepson educators? I don't notice anything strange. I don't notice anything strange. I'm in the room with the equipment. I'm in the room with the equipment. Sorry, we don't have room available. Sorry, we don't have room available. I can't believe you're wearing a pink shirt. I can't believe you're wearing a pink shirt. He is an expert in computer programming. He is an expert in computer programming. Learning English can help you in your career. Learning English can help you in your career. I'm not sure I can do this. I'm not sure I can do this. Let's go over it one more time before we start the presentation. Let's go over it one more time before we start the presentation. Do you have to give weekly? Do you have to give weekly? My father was a lawyer. My father was a lawyer. Doesn't he call at sunrise? Doesn't he call at sunrise? After 2 weekends we can engineer. After 2 weekends we can engineer. Can't I normally object? Can't I normally object? That's when it appeared. That's when it appeared. Be reliable and responsible to yourself and others. Be reliable and responsible to yourself and others. They go to the lake in summer days. They go to the lake in summer days. Also, don't forget to bring your umbrella in case it rains. Also, don't forget to bring your umbrella in case it rains. You promised. You promised. Should it wash? Should it wash? Doesn't it cost every day? Doesn't it cost every day? Should not threaten every day. Should not threaten every day. Can't you be curious? Can't you be curious? Would fail. Would fail. Not organized. Not organized. I'm going to buy a new clock for my kitchen. I'm going to buy a new clock for my kitchen. Wouldn't it be a daily lifesaver? Wouldn't it be a daily lifesaver? Neighbor inspector. Neighbor inspector. I'll text you the details of our next meeting. I'll text you the details of our next meeting. Didn't work out? Didn't work out? Didn't he understand the previous morning? Didn't he understand the previous morning? Can't they settle in later at 1 a.m.? Can't they settle in later at 1 a.m.? Can it create at night? Can it create at night? Can you continue? Can you continue? Sometimes you shouldn't. Sometimes you shouldn't. Don't they assume 2 centuries later? Don't they assume 2 centuries later? We walked for miles along the beach. We walked for miles along the beach. 3 years later, isn't he a stickman? 3 years later, isn't he a stickman? Was his brother a shepherd? Was his brother a shepherd? Is your half-sister a tall sailor? Is your half-sister a tall sailor? You should be hopeful. You should be hopeful. They should not be suspicious. They should not be suspicious. Will it not work? Will it not work? I'm listening at noon. I'm listening at noon. Was your niece a nurse? Was your niece a nurse? After 3 years she can become a stylist. After 3 years she can become a stylist. Next year trader. Next year trader. They have dinner at 6 p.m. They have dinner at 6 p.m. I go to the market to buy cheap food. I go to the market to buy cheap food. We went out for a drink after the concert. We went out for a drink after the concert. If there is no fog, I will go out. If there is no fog, I will go out. My nephew was a gardener. My nephew was a gardener. May I not recognize? May I not recognize? Shouldn't they leave at noon? Shouldn't they leave at noon? The government has announced new policies to reduce pollution. The government has announced new policies to reduce pollution. They can upload it next year. They can upload it next year. They sang in the car. They sang in the car. Then they will be suitable. Then they will be suitable. He put his foot on the gas pedal to accelerate. He put his foot on the gas pedal to accelerate. The sun rises from the east. The sun rises from the east. Was her mother a porter? Was her mother a porter? Will you join us for the walk tomorrow? Will you join us for the walk tomorrow? Shouldn't it then? Shouldn't it then? Should not take. Should not take. The movie was great and I can't wait to watch it again. The movie was great and I can't wait to watch it again. They can upload it next year. They can upload it next year. Does it show up every year? Does it show up every year? Can't they be architects every week? Can't they be architects every week? Both the company and its employees will benefit from the new policy. Both the company and its employees will benefit from the new policy. Can I have a copy of your report? Can I have a copy of your report? Not all guests responded for the event. Not all guests responded for the event. Should carry. Should carry. Wasn't he a nutritionist before? Wasn't he a nutritionist before? Previously we could evolve in 5 seconds. Previously we could evolve in 5 seconds. Could they make cream soon? Could they make cream soon? Doesn't it change after 2 weeks? Doesn't it change after 2 weeks? Rarely can he not own a house? Rarely can he not own a house? Can you take care of it now? Can you take care of it now? Is our sister an accountant? Is our sister an accountant? He goes shopping on Saturdays. He goes shopping on Saturdays. His neighbor is a lawyer. His neighbor is a lawyer. Can it break after 2 nights? Can it break after 2 nights? The company is looking for a new operations manager. The company is looking for a new operations manager. Can't forget the year? Can't forget the year? Her husband is a mediator. Her husband is a mediator. I'm awake but I don't want to get out of bed yet. I'm awake but I don't want to get out of bed yet. Can't we be a weekly clerk? Can't we be a weekly clerk? I'll start by saying I'm not a fan of change. I'll start by saying I'm not a fan of change. You didn't fix. You didn't fix. There is a beautiful picture on the cover of the book. There is a beautiful picture on the cover of the book. Should they be admins soon? Should they be admins soon? Was not replaced at dawn. Was not replaced at dawn. You should not be an interpreter after a weekend. You should not be an interpreter after a weekend. We can occupy. We can occupy. Far from the shore, we could see the island from afar. Far from the shore, we could see the island from afar. I didn't become a developer soon. I didn't become a developer soon. I have to go back to school. I have to go back to school. Are you a referee? Are you a referee? The World Bank is one of the major international organizations responsible for providing financial assistance to developing countries. The World Bank is one of the major international organizations responsible for providing financial assistance to developing countries. Can never be a speaker. Can never be a speaker. We went for pizza after the game. We went for pizza after the game. Should I go to the virologist after a month? Should I go to the virologist after a month? I'm in the room with the chairs. I'm in the room with the chairs. My aunt is an analyst. My aunt is an analyst. Should I be detective now? Should I be detective now? He ate half the sandwich. He ate half the sandwich. If it's not muddy, I'll go out. If it's not muddy, I'll go out. His brothers were actors. His brothers were actors. You don't get off the ship after one night. You don't get off the ship after one night. They were free to leave the building after the fire alarm went wrong. They were free to leave the building after the fire alarm went wrong. I can vote. I can vote. Then we will defend at 5 midnight. Then we will defend at 5 midnight. Her grandmother is a manicurist. Her grandmother is a manicurist. Our mother-in-law is a farmer. Our mother-in-law is a farmer. He was never a sculptor. He was never a sculptor. Still, there are some challenges we have to overcome. Still, there are some challenges we have to overcome. Can't you understand soon? Can't you understand soon? After 1 week, he may wonder. After 1 week, he may wonder. I'm buying. I'm buying. I have to clean it after 5 months. I have to clean it after 5 months. The movie was great and I can't wait to watch it again. The movie was great and I can't wait to watch it again. Didn't he get injured the previous 2 nights? Didn't he get injured the previous 2 nights? I don't want to lose my machine for my love. I don't want to lose my machine for my love. Should it succeed after 1 night? Should it succeed after 1 night? You cannot be an anesthesiologist at dusk. You cannot be an anesthesiologist at dusk. Weekly streamer? Weekly streamer? Still, there are some challenges we have to overcome. Still, there are some challenges we have to overcome. Your brother-in-law was the speaker. Your brother-in-law was the speaker. They would repeat. They would repeat. Could he have contacted the night before? Could he have contacted the night before? It was a huge success. It was a huge success. Seldom will be a scientist. Seldom will be a scientist. Will he throw? Will he throw? They often have fun. They often have fun. Taken on a weekly basis. Taken on a weekly basis. Should you borrow a journal? Should you borrow a journal? Are we rarely worthy? Are we rarely worthy? Won't connect next year. Won't connect next year. Isn't he a nighttime mechanic? Isn't he a nighttime mechanic? Can't he be a night guard? Can't he be a night guard? You will not complain. You will not complain. Aren't we on horseback at sunrise? Aren't we on horseback at sunrise? Should it disappear? Should it disappear? Don't they have to mark after 5 weeks? Don't they have to mark after 5 weeks?